know why I'm feeling so nervous. Anyway, hello friend, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to, it's a little bit late, but excuse me, an April reading wrap up. And in March, I was trying to think of the month before April, your girl was kind of going through a major reading slump, and so I was just coming off the back end of that, and so I only read 3 books, but I'm so proud of myself because I read this book, which has been a book I've been wanting to read for a while, but I like to do these in order. So the first book I read was Rejoice by Karen Kingsbury. I think this one is a 3-star for me. Maybe like 3.5. This series is a cool series. I actually can't remember what this book was about. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'd say like a 3.5 star. It's a good series, but the first and the last books, I kind of feel the same way about them, where it's like, it's not fantastic, you know, like it was a good book. Listen, Karen Kingsbury, she's kind of like Francine Rivers a little bit, where she, like, her characters are gonna go through tragedy and pain, which I didn't realize, and it's like a really cool story and like God's redemption in it, but it wasn't amazing. And I feel like there's a specific plot line that was like dragged on. One of the sisters that was dragged on that they should have wrapped in like the previous book, you know. But it was a pretty good book. I think also the ending kind of felt a little bit rushed, and so it was like, I say pretty good, it was average. I would literally say it was average, good read. It helped with the reading slump. It was like an easy read, or rather coming out of the reading slump. So yeah, and then I read this book, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And so what's so funny is that my friend, one of my actually my bestie, she didn't like this book, dragged on for her. So I was like, I don't know if I should read this. And then Taylor Tippett put out a book vlog recently where she just like loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it. And I loved this book. Like the feeling, this was a 5-star read for me, absolutely. The feeling that this book gave me was so magical, so beautiful. The ending, oh, hectic. Like this was the perfect emotional book. Not just like, okay, so this one, like clean rating, this is like a 0 out of 5. Really good, clean book. This one I would say maybe like a 2 out of 5. There is, just so you know, there is like, I guess, bisexual themes kind of running through this book a little bit. I'm trying to think back. I can't really think about the language, but I feel like this book, some people's like complaint with this book is that it was too dragged out, but because this is kind of literally like in the first, this is what the whole book is about, is that Addie LaRue is basically immortal, or rather she's like, she made a deal with the devil and she's just staying alive forever. And so I feel like this accurately represents that. This book is literally one of my favorite books of this year, along with the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Oh, you have to read this book. Like, you have to read this book. A book that I'm currently reading, speaking of books dragging out, that I'm currently reading that I feel like a lot of people get through, but I'm struggling to read, is Babel by Arif Kwang. But maybe that will be next month's reading vlog. And then I was at the bookshop. It was almost the end of the month. And then I saw this book, and so they were having a sale on like a bunch of James Patterson books, and I've never read them, and I was like, ooh, let me kind of read them, because he's, you know, like one of those authors who has like 20, 50,000, like 60, 100 books that he's released, and it kind of felt a little bit like this one, not in terms of the genre, but just like it was okay. Like it was an interesting story, but towards the end it did get a little like icky and very like, oh, you know, like there's just like mystery, and then there's like kind of like a bit more violent, a bit more like creepy, and also then you realize that it's part of the whole series, and the series has like 20 books, and I'm like, it's not worth reading 20 books, and yeah, it's just kind of like a very quick book where like some of the, because it is like a murder, like I guess kind of like a mystery criminal crime book, and some of the murders, like it's just kind of like murder for the sake of murder, instead of, not that murder should be for the sake of plot, but like where it makes sense in the plot. Here it's just like this random guy's angry, so he starts killing a bunch of people, and yeah, but I love his relationship with MC, his nanny. But yeah, it was like, okay, average. I would also say like a 3-star read, honestly. And so yeah, 2 3-star reads, and then the best book I have ever read. You literally have to read this book, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And so that was my April reading. What I kind of, my little wrap up. A few books I'm looking forward to, or that I need to actually like read. I think I want to reread The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I just kind of like want a sweet little romance. I've got Babel by Arif Kwong. I'm reading Single Dating Engaged Married by Ben Stewart. There's The House at the Yellow Lake. Oh, a really good book I'm looking at myself over there is Knowing God by J.J. Packer. There's another fiction book I have. Oh, and then some books that are kind of, I should actually do a book of like the 24 books I want to read in 2024. But one of them would be To Kill a Kingdom. I really want to read that. And then also Happy Place by Emily Henry. So those two I still need to get. So hopefully I can get them. I'm realizing that it's actually sometimes cheaper to just get like secondhand books on like Yaga or something, or like at a thrift store, because that was the other thing. I feel like with the James Patterson books, I can literally get them at a thrift store because they're so old instead of like buying them, you know. So we'll see if I ever find those. But yeah, that is my reading wrap up. The content, this one in terms of cleanliness, like it's pretty good. So cleanliness I rate in terms of like sex in the book, or like spicy scenes, and language. And this one is, I'm trying to think back, it was pretty good. I'd say like maybe a 1. But the thing is, this one is like a little bit more, I guess, like murder. There is murder, because this detective puts away a famous like crime lord, so there is murder. So that's a bit, it's not like super gory, but it is like there. And so yeah, those are my books. I keep rambling. Okay friend, I will see you in the next video. And sorry I was struggling a little bit. Well, actually last week, not struggling, I had my friends got married and I was a bridesmaid, and then on a Wednesday, and then the next week Tuesday I had a live wedding painting, and then the next day my other friends got married. So it's been a bit of a busy time, but I am looking and excited to get back into like the regular programming of a new video every Tuesday. And so yeah, thanks so much for watching friend, and I will see you next week. Bye.